Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hi friends, today we are back with our book Living Spring. Today's chapter is about Mary Magdalene, and before we start, let me just say it's the book Living Spring by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, and I'm your host Rihanna Willemse. We are today going to read chapter 32 in Living Spring, and it's about Mary Magdalene. And before we start, I want to recommend that you go and watch the book Good News, the study about that on Kodak Radio or on the YouTube channel, and I think it's on all the other channels as well, about Mary Magdalene. It's a very great chapter to read or to listen to that Vanessa Angelini did, and this will help us understand what Emmanuel is trying to tell us, what Jesus said about Mary. I'm going to read this quickly for us. The good part. Mary has chosen the good part, and it will not be taken from her. And Jesus, and it was in Luke 10 verse 42, do not forget the good part that resides in everyone and everything. The fire may destroy, but it also brings the purifying elements. The stone may bruise, but it also consolidates security. The gale may lash mercilessly, but it also helps to bring renewal. The torrent may be dirty, but it brings the fertilizer indispensable for a successful planting. Likewise, there are persons who are useless in certain aspects of the human struggle, whereas they are extremely valuable in others. Illiberal judgment is always ruinous. There is neither complete imperfection nor complete perfection on this plane of evolution. The criminal condemned by everyone today may be the healthcare giver who gives you a glass of water tomorrow. The person in whom you discern a trace of darkness may later turn out to be the enlightened brother or sister who gives you a worthy example to follow. The tempest of the times in which we live at the moment very often becomes the fount of well-being in the time we have left to us. Let us look for the positive side of situations, events, and persons. Mary has chosen the good part, and it will not be taken from her, said the Lord. Let us assimilate the essence of this divine lesson. In the field of life, those who look for the good part and seek harbor in it receive the spiritual treasures that will never be taken from them. This is a very great chapter to remind us, like Emmanuel is saying, that there is good in everyone and in everything. And he says to concentrate on the good part. And he gives through this chapter amazing examples that everything is laid on for the good. And I love this part where he says, there is neither complete imperfection nor complete perfection on this plane of evolution. And beloved brothers and sisters, when you look at yourself today, first begin with ourselves. Remind yourself that you are worthy, that you deserve to do all this good, because it's imperative that we remind ourselves constantly about this, that we practice this daily. Because if it starts with us, we will give this out. We will look for the good part and the good in everything and in everyone. And we will be more understanding, and we will be more tolerant towards everything and everyone. And this is what Emmanuel is trying to ask us to practice, to look for the good part. Like he so beautifully explains that everything sometimes is necessary for our evolution, for things to change. That this is the way that God has made it, so that we can eventually understand this. And I think there's no better example than Paul of Tarsus. Those of you who have read the book, Paul and Stephen, what a beautiful inspirational book. To remind us that it's not about yesterday. It is not about where we are now. That we must tolerate ourselves sometimes. To know that we have a road, we have somewhere to go to elevate ourselves. And it is through the understanding and the service of others that we elevate, that we change. Because it is through love, through others' understanding. And we are called to do this, to practice this beautiful lesson. And I'm going to read the last again. So please go and watch. I don't remember which chapter in The Good News or Born Harbor this chapter is of Mary Magdalene. It's a very beautiful chapter and very inspirational as well. And in that chapter, we are reminded that she went to Jesus. So we have to seek to be better. And also to tolerate. To understand that, like Emmanuel explains here, the criminal condemned by everyone today might be the healthcare giver who gives you a glass of water tomorrow. And we know, just like Paul changed his life after Jesus, he saw Jesus and he talked to him and he understood. He changed his life. It could be in one day. It could be maybe many more centuries. But we have to understand that just like every day is a new day for each and every one of us and for all beings on earth, it's a new day, a new beginning. And if we look at it in that way, to understand that just like we want a new start, want to practice being better, everyone around us, everyone that we meet, we have to give the same charity to, the same way that we want to be forgiven, to not to look back on where we were, but to understand that we are still working on ourselves as well. And the next one is the person in whom you discern a trace of darkness may later turn out to be the enlightened brother or sister who gives you a worthy example to follow, like Paul. How amazing is this? We are reminded in ourselves and in everything, like Emmanuel says, everyone and everything around us is on a way to change. How thankful, we are so thankful for this beautiful message today by the mentors. We should remember that every time that we think, when we open our phones and we look at the news, we are connecting with minds. And if we take this chapter to heart today, every time that we look at the news today and we see whomever are being discussed, remember that we are being connected to that person mind to mind in our thoughts. What will our reaction be? Like Emmanuel is calling us to be? Like prayerful, knowing that all things are evolving? Or are we judgmental? And that is the thing, is that we should be very mindful what we do, what we watch, what our mindset is about everything. It is not only can we serve through giving out the good and knowing that there's a reason for everybody, and even like Emmanuel said, even those who, let me read that part again, there is neither complete imperfection. So nobody has got complete imperfection nor complete perfection on this plane of evolution. So we have to remind ourselves. So we are called to see with everything that we think, what we are watching, what are we giving out? Are we looking for the good part in all things and in everyone? So let's practice this today. I thank you so much for your time. May God bless us until next time. Thank you so much.